Do I start?
Sure.
Okay, so earlier you mentioned Ayn Rand's view that everyone is an end in themselves, and I was wondering if you could clarify what the distinction is between the objectivist view that everyone is an end in themselves and the Kantian view that says something similar.
Good, yes. So Immanuel Kant, who someone mentioned in a question yesterday, and who's a philosopher Rand didn't think well of, famously, one of his several formulations of what he calls his categorical imperative, or his basic principle of morality, is that you should always treat humanity, whether in your own person or the person of someone else, as an end and never merely as a means only. So you should treat other people and yourself always as ends in themselves. But what I think Kant means as treating people as an end is that you, in effect, need to make their ends part of your end and treat their ends equally with yours, not to... Kant doesn't have the idea, and I think really philosophers in general don't have the idea, that we are living for and from ourselves in the sense that Rand thinks that people are. So that you're creating the values that are your own life, and you're creating the fact that they're valuable, too. And when Rand speaks of each person as being an end in himself, she means it that way, that each person is independently, for his own sake, engaged in the process of living. And if we want to deal with them, we have to respect that that's what they're doing. In order to, that they are living for themselves, and we have to respect that they're living for themselves and treat them as though it's okay for them to live for themselves in order to derive any actual value from that interaction. What Kant is saying, I think, is that you have to treat other people's value as on par with your own, in a different sense than that. It goes to his conception of dignity, and what you basically have to do for Kant, what it is to treat somebody, everybody's humanity as an end in themselves, amounts to treating their ability to recognize and adhere to moral duty as an end in itself, which is what you also have to do to yourself, which is why you're not allowed to live for the sake of your own happiness, for Kant.
So great